Oh boy. So this is Katie Hajenius. She is a friend of mine from several years ago, back when we lived in LA. I'm already getting hot. I'm like, ooh, it's getting hot in here. It's getting hot, but if I take this off, it's just plain, like I feel like Steve Jobs in a black shirt, you know? So I don't know if I want to do that.
You're far more beautiful. I don't think you should worry about that.
I look a little bit more.
Yeah, well, you've got that nice necklace too.
I
yeah,
do
so you can rock whatever, Lucy.
I could rock the
Seriously,
black top as long as I get the jewelry.
Yeah,
to compliment.
It's true. It's true.
So Katie is a mom of two, and she is a realtor with Keller Williams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she lives in LA, and she's down here in San Diego for vacation.
Yes.
For a bit. Yes. So we got to arrange this little sit down and
yay.
And have some conversation. So Katie and I have been through a lot of different things together, and different trainings and coaching and groups and programs and experiences, and I don't even know how to begin diving into that because it's been quite a journey.
Yeah.
But let's start. Tell us more about what you are excited about right now.
Oh, that is such a big question. I'm like, where do we start? I guess I would say I'm excited just about the journey I'm going on personally, which I would say was very much, I started in real estate, which was kind of fascinating to me that there's this whole coaching component that I never was aware of, a lot of personal development.
Yeah.
And so even though I had gone through a lot of things in my life up to that point, I had never experienced any measure of coaching. And so that kind of started me on a trajectory of just different ways of doing life. And coaching's a lot about action.
Yeah.
Like seeing yourself and taking action versus like, let's ponder this for 20 years or let's just chew
on it and then decide if we want to commit to anything.
Yeah. And then I feel like what really like springboarded things to a whole new level with me was when you approached me about doing some coaching with you. And I had never really considered like one-on-one coaching per se. And when you initiated that with me and I knew you and trusted you, and kind of been watching your life for a while, I was like, oh, this girl, she's got some stuff going on here, and I really could use some support, and was kind of going through a tough season, and so that kind of got me on this trajectory of really going a lot deeper in myself, and seeing myself more clearly, and starting to go after, what do I really want? What do I really care about? What am I passionate about? And so I feel like you're a real catalyst with that. And I've told you this like so many times, but it's so true. I feel so grateful for you entering my life and reaching out to me in that way, because I feel like I'm definitely still in a transformational process. I have nowhere close to arrive.
And that never ends though, you guys. We were just talking before this about how if we do this work, this deep work in ourselves every single day for the rest of our lives, we could literally get to the end of our lives at a ripe age. Mm-hmm. And have still barely scratched the surface of who we really are. It's mind-blowing.
It is, yeah. Because I really thought I was really in touch with myself. Like, I told you that, like, I always feel like I'm really open. I'm kind of like an open book, all these things. Yeah. And through this process, I'm like, I'm so not in touch with myself at all.
Isn't that crazy? When I started getting in touch with that realization, I was like, oh, shit. There is so much there that I have not wanted to look. It's hard. Yeah,
it's incredible. And so even like what my husband and I were talking about last night is realizing how performance driven we've been, and just putting on the show, and like, you know, everybody says like fake it till you make it, like all that crap. It's like crap. You're not being authentic.
Bullshit, people. Just gonna call it what it is.
You're not being authentic with who you really are. I'm not being authentic, you know? And so trying to live as like a whole person and not like this fragmented, okay, so at work I'm like Miss whatever.
I'm gonna be this. I'm gonna perform.
And then at home I go bat crazy. Like, okay.
I think that's that usually goes. And we save it up for the ones who I know will take it.
Yep.
And they're not going anywhere. You know, we just gotta eat. They just gotta eat it.
Yeah. So this transformational process has been incredible, because I feel like I was on that that hamster wheel of what is it? Be, have,
do, and then you have, and then you can be.
Yeah. Okay.
Instead of
Yes.
You are a badass.
Yeah.
And then you do what badasses do, and you have what badasses have.
Exactly. And so
Yeah.
I was always going for like, well, if I just have this, then my life will be great. If I just have the house that I want or the amount of money I want or whatever, then I'll be great. And I'm seeing that no. Like it really does.
Comes from here.
It does.
Like you cannot have or do that the way that you picture it in your head until you are
that person.
It's so
yeah.
It's such a mind-blowing concept.
It is. It's revolutionary. And when I didn't actually get this in here, I fought so hard about that because I wanted my circumstances to change so desperately, and I was just like, I don't want to have to change my perspective. I just want my circumstances to change.
And then I'll see it differently. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. And but now I'm like, it's all about the work. It's all about the work I'm doing in me and allowing people to speak into my life and be accountable to, just walking with greater freedom and clarity and, like you said, badassness and owning my power. Like it's incredible. And like you said, I'm just scratching the surface. And there's a lot of undoing because I feel like over the years, as I've gone through more pain and hurt and disillusionment, not knowing how to really deal with it, so I just kind of keep going forward. Okay, I'll just keep pressing.
We just kind of push it aside and pretend like it's not there.
Yeah, or it's not as bad.
I'm really good at that too. Yeah, like was I'm unraveling that too. It's hard to look at. It's hard for me to look at, and that's why for any of you who have followed the Ruthlessly Committed show that I do with Ryan, my husband, last week was the perfect example of that. I did not want to look at the past because to me it's like, well, why go back there? Because we're here, we're now. Yeah. But in reality, that pain, that impact that I caused back then, the pain I created was very real, and I didn't want to look at it. Yeah. And so I resisted so much. It's hard work. This whole process is hard work. Yeah. And it's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. Because it's so hard. It's so hard to take responsibility for what I've done, especially when there are good excuses. Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Well, I had to work, or I had to do this, because who else was doing it?
I have great justifiers to explain
so much
why I've been
about this.
I love this girl.
So much. We run away from our pain. We don't want to look at our shit.
I know.
We just want to cover it up with fun.
We're like hot messes.
We're just hot messes. Yeah. We're the hot mess moms.
Gosh. That's gonna be a new thing.
Oh, but I look at actually I had a group session with a coach who I super look up to in the fall, and he said, I think you should just call it the hot mess moms, because that seems
seriously
more appropriate. Like, I want to cast a vision because we want to be sexy. That's where we're going. Okay, we're a hot mess now. We're going towards sexy. Everything.
That's hilarious. I'm picturing us like in bathrobes, our hair all disheveled.
I should go get some bathrobes right now. I got 2 of them. You want to put one on?
We should start. I know that would be more authentic, right?
No, just put the curlers in.
Yeah,
forget that. We're not putting curlers. I ain't got time for that.
Yeah,
I got time for curlers. Just have messy hair.
Yeah, total bedhead.
Smear,
not the nice bedhead, the real bedhead.
Yeah, not the sexy bedhead. That's how we really wake up. Every once in a while, I have a good hair. I just roll out of bed, and Ryan's like, "Wow, you look great." I'm like, take it in today, because
you might not see this again for quite some time.
Might not see this for ever. So but it's like we have so much in common in how we deal with our pain, and how the ways that we justify and rationalize and come up with excuses, really good ones, like I said, really good ones. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to take responsibility, even for the little things. Yeah. Like Ryan's alarm going off in the morning, and I get pissed about it. I'm like, oh, why is it so loud? You're going to wake everybody up. Some mornings I won't even notice. But every once in a while, I'll notice, and I'm like, oh, this is so early. Why are you up so early? You woke me up. And he just points out to me that it's my responsibility that I'm triggered. And I'm like,
yeah.
That is a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
That's my work to do.
Yeah.
So, I think on that, what has been the biggest fruit that you've seen from being doing this process, like doing this kind of work in yourself?
Oh, that's good. I feel like I've really, I feel like I've just been a big fat faker for a long time.
That's good.
And I always choose, like, I tell people, because when people ask, like, my background of things, they're like, were you a party girl? I was like, not really. I mean, I would go to the parties.
Katie's the good girl.
Yeah, I was always the good girl. And I always choose, I always choose, like, kindness and to be nice to people. I'm not, like, being real, though, because people are always like,
there's like a poke at you.
They're like,
and you're like, I'm fine, it doesn't hurt. It's okay.
And
I didn't poke.
Yeah.
Because I am so positive.
Yes. And
100%. That's me. Yeah.
Yeah. And but I also, with that, feel that people have seen under the surface and like, wait, you're kind of powerful and you're holding back. And I'm like, no. This is just how I am. And they're like, I'm easy. I know there's something more. Yeah. And it's true though, because like for people who really know me, I'm like so fiery and passionate. Yeah. And I think what's been the case is I'm scared of my power and my passion.
Like scared of being too much.
Too much for people.
And
too
repelling people and them not liking you. I think that was such a huge realization when we
100%. I'm such a people pleaser. Like people's affirmation and love for me, especially if I'm wanting their love. Yeah. And being scared that if I fully show up, they might not like what they get.
Yeah. Yeah. And because then you give them a reason to reject you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I don't like rejection.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think any of us really do. And I'm a sensitive soul, but I'm also not. Like I'm both.
You can handle it.
Yeah.
The badass you can handle that.
Yes. And I think the story of, I'm weak or my life's so hard so I can't, that hasn't been serving me. Like it's just been feeding this weird broken shell of a person that hasn't really been living life. Yeah. And so now I'm finding my voice. I'm starting to speak up more, asking for what I want, making requests to people, and I'm seeing results. And I'm like, this feels good because it's authentic. Like, dude, this would be me. This is how, like, horrible it is. My people pleasing. I would go to a store, like ice cream, going to get ice cream, right? I don't know the person behind the counter. I can't figure out what I want. And so I'm like, well, what do you recommend? She'll recommend some flavor. And I'm thinking in my head, I don't really know. Okay, yeah, that sounds great. I'll try it.
Like, you just tell me what I want.
Yeah, and like, so I'll pay for something that I haven't owned that I want. I don't know this person. Do we have the same palette?
Instead of like, can I sample everything?
Yeah.
Because
and decide for myself.
Do that. It might be inconvenient for them, but whatever. I'm paying for my ice cream.
Right.
But I hear you on that.
Yeah.
It shows up in the smallest ways.
Yeah. And it's to me, like if I saw my child doing that, I'd be like, speak up for yourself. Like, But for myself, I have this like really, a really horrible passive side where I just haven't owned my life and really taking control of stuff. And I think for me, a lot of that came from, here's my stories. Get ready. Yeah. But like my circumstances being painful and like life kind of knocking me down. And so then I just kept taking the blows. And it's like, well, let's just do the most way possible. The path of least resistance.
Yeah.
But that's
and then that doesn't get you what you want.
It doesn't.
It just keeps you more beat down.
Yes. 100%. Yeah. So finding my voice has been huge. Like, and I'm definitely still growing in it. Definitely. So watch out.
I think there's a big, one thing that we were talking about also before this. We had some good conversation before this. We're getting into some deep stuff.
Yeah.
But it's this whole idea of either being in this ethereal world of everything's fine, let's just look on the bright side, look at the silver lining, versus seeing things for what they are, not worse than they are, not better than they are, just these are the facts, this is what's happening, and being grounded and being real. Like, how do I actually feel about this? Not how am I supposed to feel, or what's the easiest route, or what's gonna not stir up any drama. Yeah. But how do I feel? Because we lose ourselves so easily. Yeah. If we're not, it doesn't happen by accident. Yeah. And so we're talking about this whole concept of being grounded and getting real with our emotions, and especially as good girls who grew up as people pleasers and wanted to perform. Yeah. Not that anyone was beating us up like you need to perform. Yeah. but that's the reality that we created.
And we found
ourselves.
acceptance, I think,
Yeah.
through that.
Yeah.
Or false acceptance,
It's
really,
false
right?
acceptance.
Because it's not real.
Not real. Yeah.
It's not who we
Isn't
really
that
are. Yeah, like, what are they accepting me for? Like, the facade
Yeah.
that I'm creating, they're not really accepting the true me.
Yeah, it's not real acceptance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then why are we so shocked when the real bad stuff happens in our lives and everybody scatters, right? Everybody says that, like, you find out who your true friends are because maybe they never saw you for who you are. So those were never friends in the first place. But I...
Not true friends, not real
because
friends.
they never really saw me for me. And then when I was totally raw and I had nothing, no facades, then they're like, oh, we're out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Like, oh, I don't like this. You know what's interesting is that what I love to see is when someone shows up for real and then people are like, oh, I like this version. Wow, where has this version been? Like, this is somebody I can really accept because I see you.
Yes.
And I feel like I
That's
get
amazing.
these glimpses of you. And I'm like, yeah, that's the badass Katie that can do anything. She is unstoppable. She's not beat down.
Yeah.
She knows what she wants. She goes after it. And I know she's there.
Yeah.
And so the challenge is just being willing to look at things for what they are. And I'm not just talking about us. All right? Like, think about how this applies to you too, because for myself, when I've been reluctant to look at things for what they are and see the pain that I'm feeling, the pain that I've created, all the impact that's been made, it's a lot of times it's been too painful for me to look at.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't want to look at it.
Yeah.
I just pretend like, okay, that happened, but it's not right now, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Right, it's in the past.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and then just to create this false story of how everything is just fine.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a big distinction between we can create we can focus on what's going right instead of what's going wrong. I still very much believe in that. Mm-hmm. But we've got to look at things for what they really are and then create a new story, create where we want to go, that vision.
Yeah.
And we can have the positive, the habit of speaking positively and but not in a fake way.
Yeah.
Not in a way that's like clearly we believe we're worthless or something or horrible moms.
Yeah.
And then we say, well, I'm a great mom, just it's like overcompensating.
Yeah, I think we have to do the work on the reality of it.
Yeah.
And then we can
like really look at the pain, sit with that, and then you can create a new story from
make
there.
that shift. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah. Because I think what happens, or this is what I've done, is I've stacked positivity on top of pain.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Instead of getting into the pain, uprooting that.
So I'm not getting real results, actually. I'll get like a little headway, and then something will happen, and I'll go back.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it creates this whole second guessing of, well, am I really doing this right? Am I doing, what am I even doing? Because I'm reverting, I'm going backwards. But that just shows that we never really had it.
Yeah. Because
those are the opportunities to test, is that really there? Mm-hmm. So, I'm all for positive, focus. Mm-hmm. But I think, and this is something that I touch on in the Sexy Mama Manifesto. And
I'm so excited about that, by the way. I can. Okay, I don't know if you guys know this, but like Lucy wrote this book in like what, 1 week?
In
2
a
weeks?
week. In a week.
In a week. She wrote this badass book in a week.
And it's very succinct. It's bold. It's in your face. Talk about a reason to be rejected, because I'm just laying it all out there for you guys.
I love that you've done this.
And
it's
like,
so...
I'm scared. I'm pooping my pants a little. Oh my God.
It's
so... What are people going to... But you know what? I don't care, because at the end of the day, I need to like me more than other people like me.
Yeah.
I need to accept me. I need to do... if this is where I'm at right now and this is the voice I want to use, then that's what I'm going to do.
Exactly. And you have the opportunity and option down the road as you continue to evolve and grow and transform to make different shifts.
Yeah.
What you're saying right now, your voice...
where I'm at. This is the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's about being authentic right now.
Yeah.
And you are.
Not being perfect.
Yeah.
And not performing for anybody.
Yeah.
And not getting it right. And I told Ryan, you know what? When I have the second edition, I'm going to super beef it up. Like, it's going to be twice as long. We're going to go even deeper. All this exercises and things like that. But But I wasn't going to wait until that was in place to get it out, because this is
No,
the
I
message
love
needs to be heard.
that. It's right now.
Yeah.
This is where you're at. This is what you're learning. And there's such a high, like, transformation learning curve, even in your own life and your marriage and stuff right now. Yeah. So to be able to give that to the people as it's raw and happening, I think is so powerful.
This is current.
Yeah.
And this is the stuff that is hard, because when it's a past story that happened, a few years ago or a really long time ago, that can be hard to tell. But when you're in the middle of something right now, and it's raw and it's fresh, and you just have all the feelings of it still, you're like, wow, I just did this. It has a very different impact on me. And then people they see how fresh and raw it is.
Okay, so Lucy, I know this is your show, and I'm on here with you, but I just was thinking,
this is going.
Could you share with the people for a second? Give us like a little taste of the book, of something like a specific story or incident there. Could you do like a little teaser in there?
Okay.
Because I think that will make it more powerful.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested because I'm learning from you and stuff too.
So this is funny, because I just gotta plug this in. There's this show on Netflix right now that Letterman is doing.
Oh, really?
It's like Conversations or
Dude,
something.
I love Letterman.
And he's on there with Clooney. And George starts asking him questions. And he's like, wait, whose show is this? I feel like it just happened. She's like asking me questions. And
I'd be happy to be Clooney. Yeah, that would be good. He's a good...
Clooney asking the guy. Yeah. I'm Letterman, who looks like Gandalf now.
I love Letterman, though. He's
a
great.
cool dude.
He's awesome.
So, to answer your question, so it's a bold and uncensored, unfiltered guide to what actual sexy mama living is. And, taking responsibility, not living in excuses, creating our own story, and committing to something, like seeing things for what they are and what they can be, and then just filling in the gap.
So can you give a specific example from there? I think that would be really powerful.
Oh, okay. So actually, I was going there before this.
Okay. Oh, before I hijacked.
No. Before I hijacked and took us in a different direction.
Okay.
Yeah, one example was just I let you in on it a little bit, was giving people a real reason to reject me.
Okay.
Because I've never shown myself in this way. I've never used, profanity in my book or things like that.
Oh, so you've got a bunch of F-bombs and stuff.
A bunch.
Just right out from the gate.
Unfiltered. Yeah, like it's sentence 3, just FYI, So I'm like, this is where I'm at. Like, I just want to be very real with people, very transparent, and not sugar-coated, not watered down. And it helps keep me accountable to who I am committed to being. Because one thing that I've noticed in this process is that I do not want to take responsibility and be accountable for everything in my life. And I mean right now. Like, there are some things that I know that I need to clean up, but it's like I can put it off because this is more important.
Yeah.
Like, why do I need to have that conversation with my mother if I need to be having conversations with my husband every day? Like, that's all. Like, I'm my vision for that is greater than my vision for this.
Right.
At the end of the day, that's all it is. Not all, but that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So when our vision is big enough for something and clear enough, and we're committed to it 100%, then stuff happens.
Yeah.
But so that's something that I do go into in the book.
Do you have a badass raw story that you could share? That won't give too much away, but that could, help it come together for people.
So in the book, I did share my big secret, which you were there for when it first came out to other people, and that's how I conceived our first daughter. So I talked about that. I went into that. This will be the first time that I made a Facebook Live video on my personal profile.
Right.
But that was it. Not everybody gets to see that. This book, whoever buys it, whether I was friends with them or not, that's something I could really be judged for. But I want to be open about it. So when my husband and I first got married, and you know this story, but this is for you guys, we had explicitly decided not to have kids for about 10 years. And just be us, travel. He would do his military thing, I would do my music thing, and free agents, no kids. And 3 months into being married, I decided, I took it upon myself to stop taking my pills, and I lied to him. And I got pregnant. And I was like, well, you must have super swimmers, babe, the antibiotics numbed down the pills a little bit because I had bronchitis, I was on antibiotics. And I just lied to him, and that was a story that we told everybody for the first 9 years of our marriage. We've been married a little over 11 years now. Until I told him. And then we decided to keep it a secret from everybody. Until it came out at a training that Katie was at. And I was like, what the heck? What's happening? But that's when I realized how much shame I had been carrying about it.
Yeah.
And when we have shame, I was reluctant to look at the past. Because in my head, I rationalized, well, I told my husband.
Yeah.
He knows he was the big party involved,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. He's the only one that's really affected by this.
Yeah, except they're not.
Yeah.
He's not the only one.
Right.
Because he still had pain, and I still had shame.
Yeah.
So to come into the light, that's integrity, is nothing in the shadows, nothing in the darkness, nothing being hidden, or like I'm withholding this from people, especially because I have this brand for moms. And the way that my journey of motherhood began it started with a lie. So that's one thing that I did talk about in there.
That's awesome. I think it's just really powerful as you're leading other moms to lead the way in the light, because I think all moms have things that they feel guilty about or there's shame involved, and for you to kind of come clean publicly with that, I think opens the door for other moms to be like, hey, I need to deal with some stuff and look at some things, and maybe I need to get it out there, because there's how do you feel, right?
It's very freeing. It's like a physical weight off, it felt like, when I finally came out with that.
And I'm sure, it seemed like for the measure that I saw, it was very painful as you and Ryan were working through it. But how is it now? After the fact of looking at it together and you talking about it publicly, him talking about it publicly, how has that been for you guys?
It's just a fact now.
Okay.
It's just the facts.
Yeah.
There's not all this heaviness when we talk about it.
Yeah.
Because we've been able to let go of that.
Okay.
And so, but there's still a lot of things that I find, I've been lying to myself about how I really feel about this. Mm-hmm. I've been lying about whatever, but usually it comes back to me lying to myself.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes when we have that deep pain in something, we even block it out because our brain is trying to protect us. We literally forget.
Yeah.
For a period of, I want to say 5 years, I forgot that I had even done that.
Oh, wow.
Because I just put it away so deep.
It's too painful. I don't want to look at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Didn't want to deal with the aftermath of the damage.
Right.
And so I think, so for you, what's one thing that you woke up to, the realization that this is true, and it was hard to look at?
In this process, of going through. Well, I think a big thing for me, I've always struggled with self-hatred, most of my life. I was suicidal. I attempted suicide in high school, and I've just been, I've had a really hard decade. And I was just trying to do the best I could. That's what I would tell myself. And even justify why I wasn't kicking ass, and why I wasn't going after dreams, and why I wasn't being the mom, all these things. But I think the real undercurrent is that I let people and circumstances tell me who I am, my worth, and I didn't love myself. I didn't love myself enough to fight for myself, to fight for my family, to fight for my kids, to fight for the life that I wanted. And I literally am still getting in touch with this. Last night, I had this brutal...
Yeah, this is very real. This is very real right now.
Really brutal and raw and honest and extremely emotional and intensive experience last night, among other people, pushing me and fighting for me to get in touch with this stuff and uncover what's really going on. Because my story was well, I still, we've had all these hardships, I still want to be rescued. But really it wasn't just being rescued. It was that I don't love myself enough to fight for my life and to get what I want. Yeah. And that is rooted in self-hatred. And I'm I am still dealing with this? Oh my God.
It's almost like, I'm so tired of dealing with this. Like, am I not done yet? You know.
But apparently, I'm not angry enough about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if
I need to connect with that pain on a very visceral level.
Yes.
So you get just pissed off enough about it.
Yeah.
That then you're gonna be motivated to really.
I need that fight in me to come up
because I've seen it. I have seen the fight in this woman.
Yes. Yeah. Versus being passive and just being like, well, that was hard, or I gotta. And this is what we're talking about, the positivity.
Yes.
I'm just gonna.
Yes.
This was my plan, right? Okay, so this was my plan. My plan was to write out 75 things today that I love about myself, because I'm gonna start loving myself.
Which that in itself is fine.
Yeah.
You know. But there's more.
Right, yeah. So then I did 75, which I was kind of, I thought 50 was going to be hard. And then I did 75, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to push myself a little harder. I'm going to go to 100. I went to 125 already today. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to max out at 150, and then I'm going to start doing affirmations of loving myself, and I'll do like kind of like meditation kind of stuff on that. But like, if you're not sitting in the pain and really fully dealing with that, if I'm not doing that, then I'm just stacking positivity on top of stuff. And then nothing's going to change. And I know that that's
up here. Yes. I'm not really grounded and rooted.
And this is how I know if I've really worked through the crap or not, is if when I'm going after my dream or my vision or the thing that I want, and if I get the first obstacle or pushback and I shrink back and I don't say to myself, get up and like just keep doing the work, then I know that I'm still in this delusional world of like,
this fantasy of like, well, I am great and I do love myself.
Yeah, but see,
I am strong.
But
you don't believe it in
you don't, and you can tell by your voice, right? Like even when you were just kind of going through that, like I am. That's exactly how I sound.
And even in the exercises we've done at the events, you can tell and you can see this shift. And then badass Katie shows up and like, oh, watch out. So,
and I mean, to me, it's been one of the greatest gifts is having people fight for me and with me to get to my true self and to come into like who I truly am. And the beautiful thing, and I've experienced this with you and others in this community, of people that they want me to fully show up as I am, and
we want to see you like real you.
And I think I've been in a lot of circles where do you feel
like in some circles it's almost like we like the words are there, oh, we'll accept you as you are, but they really didn't.
Oh, here's the perfect example. Like, we fully accept you, you're loved. If you start dropping F-bombs or cussing, sorry, we can't take that. We can't.
You gotta clean that up. You gotta change that before you're a welcome in our.
But
that's
you
one
just
of the things
said
I love about cussing right now.
Well, because it's so freeing. Yeah. Because then it's like it really filters out the bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? And it separates, like, are you really, truly, like, there for me as a whole person who actually sometimes that is the best word to use because nothing else suffices?
And I saw that you pulled up that quote from Brene Brown, which I love. Yeah. She's a lot of times in the work that she's been doing for decades now.
Yeah.
I don't know how many years.
I think it was 15.
I think it was like 15. Mm-hmm. Okay, so over a decade now.
Yeah.
She said a lot of times, real vulnerability involves both cussing and praying. Sometimes often at the same time.
Yes, that's her quote.
At the same time.
Yes.
I'm like, wow, that is powerful.
It's totally true, though. Right? When you're getting really raw and deep, like think about if you're thinking about the most heinous, evil crime on the planet, right? Which, we do that work too. Yeah. Like, how you can't describe that stuff without throwing out like some kind of cuss word. I mean, really, because there's no word
it's like you're disconnected from the way you really feel about it.
Yeah, it's so bad. Or like if you're getting in deep touch with that pain, like it's just authentic. And I think that so being in a community where people like they're not looking at all that stuff and judging that, they're seeing who I am, who you are, and they're like loving that person and wanting all of that person to show up. Like I had a girl literally say to me, like, Katie, like I feel like you're playing small. Like I want to see you like big and badass and going for it. And I was like, really? Like you see that in me? Because I'm like over here being like, I am nice.
I'll just take it if I get it.
Yeah, exactly. Like exactly. If it drops out of the sky or something, versus like me like fighting for my life, you know, and that's what I feel like this is. Like this stuff, I actually think it's a gift for it not to be handed to me.
You know, I've thought about that so many times because And I've told Ryan, you know what, I really need this particular thing, whatever it is at that time. And I would love for it to just happen, but you know what, right now I want to know that I can actually create that.
Yes.
I want to know there's some not that I would reject it if it came, you know?
Right.
Because we've received so many gifts throughout our lives, throughout our marriage, and here, like literally this house that we live in is a huge gift. We didn't do anything on paper logistically to deserve it. It was a gift. And anyway, so I receive, but I also want to have that confidence in myself. Like, I can create this. I can
do
create
this. Yes.
the clients that I want to work with. I can, all these things. The business I want, the relationship I want, the connection with my kids that I want. Because we are powerful like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You don't have to wait for it to come together by accident one day.
I don't have to wait for a savior or rescuer. Like, I love this example. Someone was talking about in LA, everybody comes to LA hoping to be discovered. So what they're saying is that I'm waiting for someone else to validate my worth in this area versus like, I'm just going to go make this happen regardless.
Yes, and those are the people who actually make it.
Yeah, because they've made something happen. Yeah. And these are the same people who make it have been telling themselves probably since their childhood, I'm going to be a like they're declaring
There's no doubt.
There's not like I want to do this. It's like I am this.
Yeah. And that's the power of doing the declaration, the flat out, the bold declaration is I will have a $1 million business in X amount of years, or I will have this career. I will win an Oscar. I will. It's just it's 100% commitment and real belief in the heart.
Yeah.
Like, this is who I am.
Yeah. And
so of course that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's not the focus. Like, the Oscar's not the focus, even sometimes it is, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The nary child will grow up like, this is all about the Oscar, so my life is not validated until I win it. It comes from within. It comes from the identity, from the being. And then all the stuff, everything else happens from that. Yeah. Not waiting for someone to discover or save.
Right. Yeah. We get to create it. Like, that's what's so exciting. Yeah. We get to be creators, and if people are faith people, like, you get to be co-creators with God, It's like, it's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah. I love it. I mean, I feel like I'm a baby on this journey, like, finally getting some of this stuff, but that's all right. Like, here I am now.
This is real. There's no covering up stuff. Like, it's like, I'm fine. I made it. Because we will never arrive. First of all.
Yeah.
The best we can do is be authentic about where we are right now. Yeah. And it changes. It's always changing, because when you are doing the work, there's always growth. There's different people than we were yesterday. So now we're in a new now there's new stuff going on, new revelations. Yeah. And so this is one of the things that I love about doing this, and also doing the show that I'm doing with Ryan. I mean, it's all current. Yeah. This is what's happening right now, and I could literally have Katie on, probably Skyped in or something next week, and she would be a different woman then than she is today.
Yes, indeed.
Because she's willing to do this work in herself, and she's getting more glimpses into what the real pain is, and she's more and more curious and willing to go there, and that's not an easy thing to do.
No, it's not. But I just feel like, what's the alternative?
Well, the alternative is what most people end up doing, is just numbing it, covering it up with more positivity. Yeah. Or just giving up on life.
Yeah, which I feel like that's where I've been. And so then it's like, okay, wait a second, I already kind of threw away a decade. Really? Yeah. Do I want more of the same?
What am I waiting on?
Yeah, like, nothing changed with all my hoping or self-pity or half-assed efforts. Like, nothing changed. So it's like, okay, how about if I fully get in the game? Yeah. Like, not just go after what I want, but also do whatever it takes inside so that I walk in the strength and in my power to get what I want, And so, like we keep saying, it's brutal. It's brutal looking at all this stuff and dealing with it, but it's also, like, I feel like alive. Yeah. And so I'm like,
and you can only feel alive when you're willing to really look at the current reality. Yeah. Look at the impact we've made, and then create something new. So it's amazing knowing what we want and really feeling the pain. And then you know what's in between. What's in between here is like the intense pain that we're feeling. We're willing to go there, willing to feel it, so that we get that, like you were saying, angry enough, like, well, fuck this, I don't want to be here, you know? And then you get the courage when it becomes more painful to stay where you are than to step out. Yeah. That whole saying, and it's been worded different ways, but we want familiarity. This is why abusive relationships continue and continue. Yeah. Because they'd rather get the shit beat out of them and stay in something familiar, because at least they know that they can expect that treatment, than to step out into something unfamiliar, because that's really scary, and the human mind is just not wired that way. Yeah. It wants to be safe. It wants to keep you safe. So it takes incredible courage to step out. It does. And I feel like I'm coming to the place where I continue to long now to be uncomfortable. Like, as soon as I start feeling comfortable, I'm like getting all antsy, like, something isn't right.
Yeah, I feel like I'm nervous now that I'm not going to move forward the way I want to in my heart and in my life in this zone. So I need to figure out a way to get uncomfortable. So right now I started that new program where I'm looking at stuff every single day. I get feedback from people, and it's like I think like a 4-page form that so basically I won't go into the whole thing. But basically, I have to look at what triggers me during the day, and then the questions. Like, I have 4 pages of questions I have to fill out to dig into that, and then I have to post a video when I'm raw about it. Yeah. And people are giving me emotions. Yeah, and people are giving me feedback about it and telling me that I'm either like full of shit or like go deeper or whatever. And it's been exhausting and incredible. Yeah. Because every day to be like, I'm not triggered. I remember when I said that, I said like, well, what if like I don't get triggered today? I've asked that same question. I was like, oh, that's bullshit. Because there's always something, even if it's just a little something. Yeah. And that what I've learned from Ryan doing his stacks, so this process is called stacking. From him doing that process is that he will take a little thing that he thought was just no big deal, because he literally thought, I don't know what else to stack, I don't know what else to do this process on, and he will do it on this tiny thing that he had this little trigger on, and he will get such a huge gift out of it. Yeah. Because there's so much more beneath the surface, and he starts to see, oh, it also shows up in this part of my life, and this part, and this part. Yes. And so it's very revelatory. Is that the word? Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is. Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible. And I think, and for that, I mean, just feeling like I'm letting people into my world in my most raw and vulnerable state, looking ugly. I mean, someone was on the video the other day. It was actually your husband. Is it right? He was afraid to look ugly. He had like snot hanging out of his nose. And I'm like, dude, like I need to like look away right now. I'm never going to lose that image. But you know, I was like, wow, he's like fully showing up and he's like doing the work, and you know, he loves himself enough to not care. Like that was like such a beautiful example to me, because when I asked that question to the person that's like leading it about same question, like, what if something doesn't really trigger me today? I had a great day. And he was like, you're sedating yourself. And I was like, yes. I am not sedating myself. 50 things if we really pay close attention. Yeah. And so then my husband was like, Katie, just go through the members of your family. You'll find something. And I was like, oh yeah, probably. There's always that. Or throughout the day, I'll be like, my husband will do just something little. I'm like, I'm stacking you later. My son's, I'm stacking you later. And then I get to it and I'm like, oh, I forgot. But then it's like, take a moment and let some stuff kind of come up. And then allow yourself to feel it and connect with it. And like, oh, you know what? That is still in there. I just put it away for a while because it wasn't convenient. Or I was making a sandwich or something. I forgot, but it's still there. Yeah. And it pops up. It will pop up, because why am I so short with somebody later on, or why did I get so quickly offended there? Oh, because I never dealt with this thing earlier. And it could just be as simple as, the neighbors had a weed whacker going when our toddlers were taking a nap, and I'm like, but I just. Oh, well, it's fine. This is their weekly thing. Rationalize it. Why it shouldn't bother me, but it still does. And so so it's easier, more convenient to wrap it up in a nice, pretty package of positivity instead of looking at the real emotion behind it. Because we are emotional creatures, and there's no way around that. There's just no way around that. Unless you are comatose,
I mean, there's no way around it. We you know what we learned recently is that there have been there's one particular study done. I forget the name of the person who led it, but anyway, with the particular part of the brain that that feels the emotions in the mammalian part of the brain, if that part isn't working, people cannot make decisions. They cannot make decisions. They'll just look at a menu and look and like, I don't know. Because everything we do is so emotionally driven.
Wow, that's really interesting.
That's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Can't even pick an item off of a menu.
So that's really interesting. So when I'm being indecisive, maybe it's because
you're not in touch with the emotion.
Yeah, what's really going on. So even though it might not be a connected issue,
also your desire, what you really want.
Yeah. And once I'm clear, that's what I feel like. I feel like each time I'm stacking, I'm like clearing out. It's like having a good poop.
Uncovering.
Right?
It's a colonic. Totally.
It's a colonic. Yeah.
Oh, Brittany says, hey, Brittany.
Yeah, so once you do that, then you can be clear about other things.
Yeah.
You know?
gotta get the shit out of the way.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I feel like. I feel like when I'm doing this, I have more clarity about other areas of my life that I feel like are completely unrelated, but they are related because I'm a whole person, and it all
there's no disconnecting these parts of ourselves. Like, it's all interwoven. So yeah, and this is all really. I know that in this talk we've gone deeper than some of you may be used to seeing on our page, on the page here, and I want to point that out because that is a big acknowledgement. My vision for these conversations is to go as deep as my wonderful guest is willing to go. And sometimes it'll be more business oriented and some, family stuff, things like that. And then there will be those amazing rare moments, hopefully not so rare, hopefully more regular, where we just get real. We get really real. Like she said, this stuff is happening right now. Some big stuff happened just last night. I mean, there's always a new revelation waiting, and as long as we're willing to do that work in ourselves, we can get those revelations on a daily basis, multiple daily. It's crazy. There's no limit.
It's true. Yeah, and I feel like Lucy, like with what you are doing, I mean, you have such a huge, beautiful vision with moms and with women, and I feel like for women to be able to be invited into a conversation like this, to see what's possible and how to even though it's, because I think we're all scared of messiness and pain.
Yeah, but looking like we don't have it together.
But it's there regardless, right? And so I think to open the door to women and to be like, hey, come and join the party.
Yeah,
it's not so bad in here, right? We already know you're a mess. Just come on in. Come on in. Because obviously we are.
That's a secret we know.
Yeah. So I think that's a beautiful gift giving to the women that are in your community. And I'm one of those women, but obviously you have a much bigger pool in this realm than I do. And so you doing that for them, I think, is a real gift and stuff.
Thank you so much. Because that's really the vision, is for this to be a community of moms where we can get real. 100% real, and want to see you as you are, not with conditions like, well, you got to show up as this particular package to fit into to us. It's courage, it's authenticity, freedom, connection, all the things that we really crave, that we really, really want deep down inside, that a lot of us are just not willing to acknowledge that we even want it. There's so many things that I have not allowed myself to want because thought it was unrealistic or impossible or selfish, but this is what I want, and this is a community I want to create, and so this is a big reason that this new series is happening. So to give moms like Katie an opportunity to connect on camera and be real, and then you can really look back at this in a week or a year or a decade and be like, whoa, I remember that feeling, that emotion and the pain, and and then after this point this and this happened, and it's just part of this. It's just a little peg in the journey,
yeah, for sure.
So is there anything that you want to share, any parting words that you want to share with our mamas?
With our mamas, I mean, I guess the only thing I would just share is that in my experience, like we've kind of been saying, it's just worth it. It's worth it doing the work. It's and it's a really beautiful thing to experience doing this in community with other people. I didn't know that people like you really existed, and not to say that all my other friends aren't,
but like fake bullshitters.
But like you helped bring me to a place of realness and rawness and expose me to a wider community that is helping to set me free in a way that I've never experienced before. And I never want to go back. I mean, I think I'm more aware of more junk and stuff, and that's hard to look at. Like, I don't like it.
It's hard to look at.
Like,
that's, for me, the number one challenge is to just look at it. Is to look at it in the face.
Yeah. Yeah, but
and sit with it. Not try to fix it or like, okay, we're done now.
Totally. Yeah, and just to, sit in that. But I like I said, I don't know if there's another way to live now. Like, now that I've tasted of this,
yeah.
I don't want to go back, and I do. I mean, even though I might be raw or more vulnerable in some ways, I also feel like I'm more powerful, and I'm getting greater clarity about what I want for my life and what I want to create and what I'll settle for and what I won't. And I've told people this, like, I want people to, like, unfriend me on Facebook and stuff. Like, I do. Please get out of my life.
Yeah, I got unfollow last week. You wouldn't tell me who it was from, but I was like, all right.
You're like, I'm doing the work.
I
do, because I feel like because such a high people pleaser. I just, like, everybody, like me. And I don't even have that many people on friends on Facebook anyways, because I was always a little bit discriminating in terms of, like, I don't really know you. But now even more so, because I just don't need that kind of, like, it's just, like, if it's not real, I don't care. That's why, like, the whole thing, I mean, it's such a little thing, right? Like, whole cussing, but I come from a really hardcore realm.
Me too. I'm with you. Yeah.
Of, like, very, very religious, and, like, that is, like, so taboo. Like, you might as well have said I murdered someone, and that might be forgivable. This, it's not forgivable. So for me, I'm like, really, like, if I say, like, if my words, but it's just, like, then you're okay.
You know what's funny about that is it does reveal so much, and it's also words. In our culture, we give so much power to our words, and yet our words carry no power because there's no integrity.
Yeah,
there's the majority. Like, it's just. We have to go deeper into that in a different episode, because that's a whole other thing.
It is actually, yeah.
We think, the words that we're saying are so valuable, and yet our words carry no power because we have no integrity. And so, I know that's not gonna, but for a future talk, So just to be able to be real and let people see us for who we are, where we're at. This is us. You can take it or leave it, and that's okay with us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very freeing, and I think like leading the way for moms, like you in particular, and me too, but that's like really your target, is wanting to see moms like freed up.
Yeah.
Across the board, free, like across the board. Like, I just think that's like such a beautiful vision, and I hope that like some of the ladies out there will like see this and like want to take a step deeper. Like a little bit.
What's in there?
Swim a little deeper in the waters. Let's like go from the shallow end a little bit into like the midsection, or just dive right in. Whatever.
Just jump right in.
Yeah,
just jump right
totally.
in. The water's fine.
It is.
We have some uncomfortable places, some sharks swimming around, but you can handle them.
Yeah.
Yeah, just punch him in the eye. Is that what you do? Is that what you're supposed to do?
Or punch him in the nose? Or is that a dog?
No, I think you punch shark in the eye.
In the eye?
Good to know. So if you ever encounter a shark...
Thank you. See, we're giving real life tips here too.
Yeah, extra bonus advice for life.
Yeah.
So this is thank you for going there with me, and
of course.
Being current and raw and feeling where you're at right now, and I'm excited to see you continue to do this work in yourself.
Yeah.
And
me too.
And be a part of that journey with you, and oh my gosh.
Thank you, Lucy. Yeah. Seriously.
And then if any of you have any questions here, or you had some thoughts and revelations that popped up, you're like, wow, this is me too. I'm a people pleaser. I eat people's bullshit or whatever. We would love to hear from you, because like, come out of the woodworks a little bit. It's fine. You're watching, or you watch some sections of this, but engage. We would love to see your engagement, and continue to get real with you every week. And let's set that set that expectation for everyone who sits on this couch with me. No pressure, everybody who's on the calendar. We don't have to go there. You're in control. Anyway, thank you, Katie.
Thank you
for
so
being
much.
here.
Yeah, thank you for everything. Yeah.
It was my pleasure. Yeah. And thank you, mamas, for tuning in, watching the replay wherever you're watching this, and have a powerful week. We'll see you soon.